Hey team, so August, I've started a new challenge because quite frankly I think I need to. I'm one of those people that needs to find a challenge all the time. So it's summertime, or at least it's summertime somewhere, and we're looking at a mile a day challenge. That's what you got to do. So you can walk, skip, jog, whatever. I've decided to run or jog because that's like my kryptonite. So I've decided that I need to jog a mile every day throughout this month. 31 days in the month, so I'm going to give it a go. And let me tell you, I only did a mile, haven't run for a while, and I am shattered. But what I've discovered about myself is that I can do it if I want to, but still, my body does not like running. I'm going to tell you this now, it does not like running. I don't care what anyone says. Stick me in a dance class for an hour, stick me in an exercise class, a spin class even, and I can get through that and still feel pretty good about myself, but run for like 10 minutes and I'm beat. So that's your challenge. So it's day one. Hopefully it'll get easier. I'm hoping it'll get easier. It should do. Last time I actually found myself quite enjoying it. That's quite concerning. So, mile a day. If you're lacking motivation, hit me up, because I'm going to need some as well. And I'll keep you updated on my progress. So take it easy, peeps, and I'll be in touch. Hey team, not gonna lie, that one was horrendous. Oh, my everything hurts. Now, you might remember, yesterday started this 1 month of running a mile every day. Running isn't my thing. I woke up this morning and felt like absolute poo pie. So I think that is clearly identifying the fact that I've got an allergic reaction, or I'm just not built for running. Remember I said that in the last one? I honestly think I woke up this morning and my body was like, what the shit? And then it was like, don't do that again, I'm gonna make you ill. I was like, cheers mate, it's only day 2. Cut some slack. It's raining. Quite frankly, I don't care. I like the rain. So I hope your month is going well. So what did I learn about myself today? That I'm stupid sometimes. Trying to remain motivated, trying to remain positive. But let me tell you, it was tough. Okay, so I was really trying to work on a couple of things. When you first start running, try and scout any routes that you have in your area or nearby that you can actually run. Make sure the routes are safe. So I've got footpaths if you have, or a clear sort of verge where you can separate yourself from vehicles if you're having to run along roadsides. So I've got a loop. So I find that when I run, to help you get motivated, I need a clear start and finish, and that's normally in the sense of a loop. So once I've done like a lap, then my mind is like, yes, we're done. Obviously where I'm running at the moment, I have to do 2 laps in order to calculate the mile, which is fine because then I know that after the second lap, once I get round, I'm done. So it's trying to find those key motivating factors that give you those triggers to say, yes, I can do this. If you just told me to run in a straight line and then I had to run back the same way, I don't know, my brain works really weird. It wouldn't like that. It just wants to know that there's a clear loop and change in scenery to some degree. So yes, so that's day 2 done. I'm proud of myself. I've got to get ready for work. My body is not feeling great today. So also, when you're starting out your running, obviously a half decent pair of shoes. Don't try and cheapy it. Try and get yourself a half decent pair. It doesn't have to be expensive. You can still find a good pair of running shoes from most sports retailers, and you know, even £40. You can get some half decent running shoes for about £40. And again, it's an investment. If you do go cheap and you find yourself in Primark, no disrespect to them, but you buy their trainers for like a tenner and decide that you want to go and run a marathon, you're probably going to end up with some sort of leg, ankle, knee, hip issues, because they're not going to give you the support and the conditioning that you might need from shoes that are good to run in. The ones I'm using are some old Adidas ones that I had. You sort of have to break them in a little bit, so it might hurt for the first couple of days, but then you get used to it. I used to have a pair. I don't know if the make exists anymore. I think it's called Saucony. That's how I used to pronounce it. But otherwise, New Balance are really good for running shoes. Most name brands will have a good section of running shoes, so check them out, because it can be worth, like I say, investing. And then today, because I was feeling rough, I had to find a rhythm that worked for me. So start off slow. Even if your jogging pace is just a little bit quicker than your walking pace, you're still going to put that extra effort on the body. You're still going to challenge the muscles, the joints, everything is going to have to work that bit harder because you're adding that additional impact to the body. But it's still not as great as if you were trying to full on sprint the circuit or whatever you're doing. So bear that in mind as well. Pace yourself. And then I tend to get into a breathing rhythm. Like today, I had to try and find a rhythm that worked with the fact that my body is clearly fighting something. And it was, I usually either go for a 2 in, 2 out. So every 2 steps, I sort of breathe in. Every 2 steps, I breathe out. And then when I find that that feels a bit like I'm hyperventilating, I do a couple of 4. So I'll do like a 4-step breathe in, 4-step breathe out. Do you know what? This stuff works for me, but it's finding that rhythm that works for you. So, you know, it's about trying these things, because running, I'm sorry, is ridiculous. But yes, so what you want to do also is get into a bit of a stride. So get your stride pattern right. Don't try and stretch your legs too long. You want to make sure that you're planting your feet sort of when you're first starting out, almost like directly under the body, or just slightly in front, landing not necessarily on your toes, but you know, from the ball of the foot to the midfoot. So you're not doing like a heel strike, because what sometimes you find is if you're running, let's say, faster, every heel strike almost acts like a bit of a brake. It's like you're slowing yourself with every step, and that can send shockwaves through the joints, which can cause a bit more aches and pains. But again, your running style works for you, so find that one that works for you. And then yes, just keep the pace and the stride manageable. If you're exerting more energy than you feel that you should, then just make the steps a little bit shorter. If you find that you're quite tall, you might want to take the legs a little bit longer, depending on, again, what works for you. So don't try and see that one rule is for everyone. In the amateur field of running, that's where I'm at. You know, you just want to make sure you get around it so you can tell the tale. I'm secretly staying out in the rain so that when I get home they can see that it looks like I'm more sweaty than I actually was. So let me know how you're getting on. Again, hit me up, add your comments if you need to. Please give me some motivation. It's only day 2. Who knows? I wonder what day it is I'll start enjoying it. So for now, have a great day, and I'll catch up with you soon. Peace. Hey team. Another rundown, day 3 of this August 1-month running challenge. I'll do a mile a day, or at least a mile a day. That's the idea. Today went quite well. Still not feeling great, so it was tough. But then I found on the loop that I do, there's a slight incline, sort of on both sides. So I usually run up one, and then it's almost like a little bit of a, I'll say, rest, coming down the other side before I do it again. But then I found running up that hill, or the little incline, was really affecting my chest today. So I tried to avoid it a bit by sort of zigzagging through the estate. So yeah, all good. Managed to do it. Actually started feeling quite good in the second half. That's positive. Calves are burning like a mother. It's just, yeah, they're really tight right now, so I need to do some serious stretching on those. Just so you know, for any beginners out there like me who don't really like running or trying out running, you are going to get some serious calf pain, so just be aware of that. And when you do start your running, probably alternate the days. Try and give yourself a day off in between if you can. Obviously I'm doing a certain challenge right now, so I'm planning on just pushing through it. That's fine. But generally speaking, if you're starting out, just focus on taking that day in between to allow the legs sort of to rest and recover, allow your feet, ankles, everything, just to sort of just to say what the actual, in the hope that you don't sort of overdo it. And then again, that can lead to demotivation, because you'll find that if you're in pain or you're not really recovering well, you've got a serious case of DOMS, which is your delayed onset muscle soreness, it can be a factor and become a barrier, which is why a lot of people stop. It's because they feel this sort of pain. They think, oh, I don't like it, it's hard work, it's causing me pain, I'm just going to stop. So give yourself time. Like I say, research, Google if you need to, and other search engines are available. Some little mobility and stretch routines, because that can be really good for helping pre and post run or workout, and sort of just ensure that you do recover recover well. Hydrate, it's important. You've got to stay hydrated. That helps to sort of flush the muscles as well. And then look at what you're eating. If, again, your diet is still very heavily carbohydrate based, it's not going to give you the recovery for the muscles in the way that proteins do, which is why people bang on a lot about proteins. All the different macros, micros, they all play a vital part in how the body functions. So please, try not to overconsume one, keep a balance of them all. So, did feel good. I bumped into an old client of mine yesterday. She came to see me, which was really nice. Is trying to convince me to sign up to a half marathon. I said, you are aware that I'm running like a mile a day and you want me to do the best part of 13.5 miles. I was like, yeah, I'll have to think about that one. Apparently it's in October, so I haven't got long if I do want to sign up to that. But do you know what? I'm a broken man right now. I'm on day 3, like struggling to do a mile. To drag myself through sort of 13 is, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I might give it a go because I like a challenge. Like you say, when I ran the London Marathon over 2 decades ago. Makes me sound ancient. But what I found is I didn't actually train for that. So like I say, I've been in the fitness industry for a long time, so I get by on my general fitness through, in my peak, before I sort of stepped back a bit from teaching, I used to teach anything from, I don't know, up to 30 classes a week. So I found that my general fitness was pretty good. And then as you sort of start winding that down, that's when you find that the body's like, what's going on? You've damaged yourself through all these years of jumping around, because everything I teach is pretty much high impact. I haven't got around to crossing over to the likes of yoga and sort of Les Mills body balance type, sort of Tai Chi sort of relaxation stretch. But I know that I need to do it. So yeah, so I relied on my general fitness to get me through. And it worked pretty well. I got round the whole marathon, only walked for a bit. And there's no shame in walking, let me be clear on that. It's about getting the job done. And what motivated me is like the crowds. If you've never done like a fun run, whether it's like just a 5K or anything fun run, and you've got like crowds who are cheering and clapping and giving you stuff on the side of the road. It's, I bumped into this guy. I remember he was struggling and his wife had prepared him a plaque at home for his winner's medal. And when I met him, it must have been just over the halfway point, and he was really, really struggling. So when I got talking to him to sort of find out what his motivation was, and he says, well, I need to finish it because my wife is making me this plaque, and if I don't finish it, I don't get a medal, so I can't put the medal on the plaque, so it's got to go at home, and the wife will have this plaque, and she'll be like, well, what the... So I said, right, let's run it together. So we ran the last, must have been at least 10 miles together, and I've got my finishing photo where we crossed the line at the same time. Never saw him after that, which is fine. But it's one of those where it's just finding that motivation and finding that reason to keep going. And despite the fact that we just felt like absolute rubbish and our bodies weren't feeling great, and your mind is telling you, do you know what, actually, it's just easier if we just stop. It's at that point you need to say to yourself, well, why am I doing it in the first place? What's motivated me to want to get started? Now, me taking on this, so I've got a plane going over, I think it's just dropped off a glider. The thing that got me going was the fact that I know that I'm not bothered about my body weight. I always say this to all my clients and stuff, is I don't train them for weight, I train them for strength and fitness, and your body weight will fluctuate because of that anyway. So what I then found is I am slightly heavier. I mean, I've always weighed about 100 kilos. So, and I'm fine with that. I can still function and do what I need to do. I've just always been that heavy. And even in my prime, if I'm lucky, I get down to about 95. But I realized that not teaching so much and not doing as many clients, not doing as much fitness of my own, that, my fitness was, if you don't use it, you lose it. So it was sort of failing a little bit. So I thought, let's get into running, because that's one thing that really challenges me. So instead of me just saying, all right, you can go to some dance classes, some body pump classes or something, things that I know I can do. Yes, I have to exert myself, but I can do it. A run is a challenge to me. And I don't know why I'm a bit of a fool. I like to just say to myself, sod it. Throw yourself in the deep end and do the thing you hate the most. And if you can learn to love that, then the other stuff is just stuff on the side. So I wanted to get a bit more in shape in terms of my fitness and overall body conditioning, because I've always wanted to. It's just motivating myself to do it. That's the trouble. Teaching is an easy in for me, because I get fit and I train and I get paid. But to then do my own fitness, God, that's a whole nother level. So that's where I probably need my own PT, you know. So the run is done. I've waffled at you for a little while, so thank you very much for listening. But hopefully on your journey, whatever you're doing, it's going really, really well. Remember, if you are taking up the challenge of running, really, really key points is pace yourself. Like I said before, really set that pace. Start off slow. It can be just above your walking pace if it needs to, just to get the body used to the impact. Make sure you've got a decent pair of shoes, or at least a comfortable, you know, not cheap pair of shoes. Don't go running out there in your, you know, your $5.99 shoe zones. Get yourself some decent shoes that are going to actually give you support and help you on your journey. And then make sure you are eating a balanced diet, because that is going to help with your energy levels. It's going to help with your recovery. It's just really, really important to not worry about any individual macro unless you find that you are missing them. But just keep it balanced. And find something that works for you in the early stages, and then you can always tweak it later down the line. The biggest thing is don't try and change too much too soon. I've said this in another thing as well. Change one thing at a time. If you're going to start doing the running, then just start with the running, and then you can focus on the food after. Your body is very well equipped to adapt to things that change in our lives, so you know it will almost guide you to the different foods that you should be eating if you are exerting yourself more. So don't stress too much. And that's about it. That's me, day 3. Not feeling great, but feeling better, feeling positive, and just hoping that, like I say, as I get past this first week, which tends to be quite a challenge for most people starting out. The first week is really just accepting the change and accepting the challenge. And then after that, you find you get into a bit of a rhythm. So that's where I'm at. Just trying to stay with that focus and stay with that rhythm. So again, hit me up in the comments, hit me up with your motivation. If you're doing anything, you want some hints and tips that I can try and offer some guidance on, or even if you just want to have a chat, seriously, don't be a stranger. So have a great day, and I will report back on day 4. Peace. Hey team, it's another day, it's another run, and it's another day completed. Challenge is moving along. It's day number 4 of this 30 days. There's 31 days in this month. I could give myself one day off, but I probably won't. So yes, run number 4 completed. I tried going the different circle this time. It plays with my brain because I like it to go the certain way. Maybe it's an OCD thing. So it felt weird. And then what's strange is when I got round to the same sort of start point, I was on less distance than I normally am if I go the other way. So I don't know what I did differently. Anywho, went well. My calves were really, really tight today. So that's one thing that you'll find is with running, particularly when you're starting out, is that you're going to get a lot of calf strain. So I changed my shoes up. So I've got some, my wife tells me I've got too many pairs of shoes. I don't even know if that's even possible. So I changed them up into some comfortable ones and some running shoes that, what are these ones? These might be my Reeboks. Or are there some other Adidas ones? They all look the same. That I sometimes use for like dance and stuff because they're light, so they feel light on your foot. Sometimes you get some running shoes that they feel heavy. You can feel them on your foot. So I use those to help, and it actually did help. And then I put on some tunes. So I put on some of my Zumba tunes that I used to dance to, and that got me around quite well. I actually feel quite good about myself. Still tired, still like say shaking off that allergic reaction to the beginning of the week and starting running, so that's good that I'm on the mend. So my chest wasn't as tight today, so that's positive. And on that, remember, if you're not feeling great, make sure you rest. Take that 48 hours just to let your body recover. So yes, good day, good start of the day. I've got a day off work today, so I'm going to go out with the family, have some family time. Happy days. Just to let you know, so if you are starting running, or even if you're just starting out on a new exercise path, the important thing that you need to focus on is balance. I've used that a number of times before. So alternate your days if you need to, so you don't have to do everything every day. So every other day is fine, or even if you did 3 days a week, that would be awesome. Just any sort of activity is going to be a bonus. If you are running though, one key thing to remember is you still need to incorporate some resistance-based training. So by resistance, it's anything that sort of puts additional force through the muscles. So anything that makes you, the traditional body weight, squats, lunges, even if you did push-ups, sit-ups, things like that, some basic sort of conditioning elements that target the main muscle groups of the body. Now, particularly with running, you want to be working on the legs. So you want to do a full coverage of calf muscles, hamstrings, glutes, particularly glutes, because people always miss those, and your quads of the front of the thigh. So, like I said, your squats and lunges are great. Standing calf raises, where you go up onto tiptoes and then back down, they can help to sort of mobilize through the joint, but also help to add that little bit of conditioning to the calf muscles as well. I do have some videos and things on my channel that you can look at, which have like mini workouts, and I'll do some more specific ones tailoring towards basic body conditioning for, I guess, sport specific as well. So make sure you incorporate those conditioning days, because it is important to keep the muscles strong. What you'll sometimes find, and I say this to people, is if you're looking to lose weight and you're using jogging or running as a way of losing weight, you've got to remember that weight is just that whole number. So if you're looking to lose weight, that's fine, you will. But what you've got to watch out for is how much weight you're losing in terms of muscle mass. Water, you'll replenish, but that still counts as body weight. And everyone tries to say, do this to target body fat. It's very difficult to specifically target body fat. So you will lose weight. Now, the one thing I say to watch out for is if you find you're doing lots and lots of running and you are starting to lose weight, just check certain areas of your body, particularly upper thighs, abdomen area, just to see if it's going a little bit wobbly. Now, not in a bad way, but sometimes you'll find that people who run quite a lot and don't do the body conditioning, they end up with a bit more sort of wobbly areas, and that's because you've lost muscle mass. So the muscle is that hard substance that helps to bind everything and give structure to, fat is just in there. It's just there. So that's not really going to give you the form and the hold. So like say when you tense your leg muscles or tense your glute muscles, it's a muscle fundamentally that does that. So you need to make sure that you are working those muscles. Otherwise everything might seem a little bit loose. Not a bad thing. Just making this point to say please do that conditioning exercise as well, just to combat any extreme sort of muscle loss, because then you'll find that's when you gain weight again if you do suddenly stop, because you've reduced your muscle mass, which fundamentally is your driver for metabolism in terms of it's an active tissue. So if you've got a lower muscle mass, it means your BMR, so your resting metabolic rate, is going to be lower. So then you'll find that if you go back to consuming the number of calories that you did before, you spike in weight. It just happens. So just be aware of how that works. Oh, but other than that, I do feel good. I don't want to waffle on too much today because I've got to go out and have some fun. So hit me up, get in touch, let me know what you're doing. Let me know how your journeys are going and whether you're doing a challenge similar or if you're looking to embark on one and you're not really sure where to start. So get in touch, and I will be in touch again with day 5, which is tomorrow. So have a great week, peeps. Hey team. Oh, just finished my run. Bit echoey on the bus stop because it's raining. Let's show you outside. Look, grey and wet, like me. So it went really, really well today. I absolutely smashed it. Do you know what? I felt really good today. Don't know why, I just did. Like I said, I've changed my shoes. I'm in ones that I know are more comfortable, and like I said before, they're lighter on the foot, so that makes it easy, so it doesn't feel like you're having to drag your ass along all the time. As it's raining, drizzling, I actually quite like running in the rain. I think it's because I'm always hot. I always call it tropical. I'm tropical. So it's important that I stayed cool, and I think because I felt cooler, my legs weren't aching as much, so they felt not loose, but they didn't feel like they were hurting. So all in all, it's going well. So day 5, and I can tell you now, if for nothing else, just starting that run, even when I was getting around the first sort of half mile, I felt fitter. So my body's obviously adapting and accepting the fact that I just had to get over myself and do it. So yeah, real positive vibe at the minute after day 5. I'm still not at that point where I'm enjoying it. You know when you see people going out for a run, like because they want to, or even going for like a long run, you know, one that's going to take as long as Avatar. Yeah, still not there yet. But no, I do feel good, I do feel better, and I'm pleased that I'm managing to stick with it, even when I'm feeling a little bit tired. I'm obviously at the tail end of feeling a bit rough, so I'm getting over that, which has obviously probably motivated me a lot as well, that I feel more like myself, so I was able to sort of get round. And I tried a little sprint finish down the home straight, which was quite nice. So check me out, me and my bad self. So now I need to work out what to do. We were going to car boot it this morning, but it's raining, so we scratched that. So we'll go to town and get some bits. So I'll share that with you. So what else can I tell you? So next week I'm going to change it up a little bit. So obviously this week I'm going to keep it the same, just doing the mile. Next week I'll still do the mile, but I'm going to start incorporating more of the body conditioning stuff. The reason why I haven't is because, as I say, I've just started out running. Everything was sort of achy, getting used to the impact of running and the change in type of fitness that I'm currently training. So I didn't want to completely break myself, because I'm not going to lie to you, that first run still killed me. So I will start the body conditioning stuff, and it will be some basic lower body exercises, as I mentioned before, whether it is just like calf raise, squats, lunges, some leg raises, mobility exercises, stuff like that. So we're going to see how that goes. So it's quite exciting, and I get to look forward to all of that, because I don't actually mind the body conditioning stuff, because I am quite strong, but I just want to start getting a bit more toned in certain areas, and then just make sure that everything that we do just works out, so it gets easier. And so that, everyone's looking at me. Isn't it funny that even in today's day and age, when everyone's talking to themselves and talking to their phones, that people still look at you like, what you're doing? Obviously I'm talking to my phone. So yes, so the body conditioning element will be good, because then I can start not only seeing the fitness benefits, which I'm obviously getting now, I can start seeing the conditioning elements and start adding that more structure, condition, definition to my legs. I quite like my legs, I really do. I've always sort of liked my legs. So yeah, and let's see how we go with that. Let me know how you're getting on, whatever you're getting up to. Thank you very much for obviously sticking with me and putting up with my daily journal of rants, waffle and offloading after my runs. But no, I think today, hopefully, because I've got to work late again today, so fingers crossed I'll finish like about midnight, all being well. Yeah, let's just hope it continues. Now I've got to try and make sure my legs are rested, ready for work, because I normally average sort of 16,000 steps just at work, so I suppose that helps with the leg conditioning, but it also doesn't help when your legs are sore and you've got to keep running up and down stairs. Oh, right, have a good one, peeps. I'm signing off. Have a great day. Hey team, so day 6, mile a day challenge. That means I've done 6 miles this week. That's exciting so far, considering that running is not my thing at all. But let's be positive. I am feeling fitter. I am getting mentally motivated, so when I have to get ready to leave the house, it's not so painful. And yeah, it's not that I'm enjoying it or looking forward to it. I sort of want to do it, and that's a massive plus for me. So yeah, I'll take that as a win. And that's a key thing to bear in mind with anyone who's starting out on anything. The first week is going to be tough, because that's where you're obviously doing the biggest change. That's where you're trying to add possibly something that you're not really wanting to do, take away something that you quite possibly really like doing. So it's a real big test. But if you can get through that first week, then the next couple of weeks is serious motivation. And like I say, what you'll notice in the first couple of weeks is the change in fitness, change in strength, change in energy levels. That's going to come first. So you're going to feel those changes. And despite you looking at your body, if you find that you don't like to look at yourself, or you're judging yourself on weight or shape, those physical changes don't usually occur more noticeably until you've gone towards like your first 4 weeks, and then beyond that point there. So the early stages is very much your body adapting to the change, accepting the change, and then trying to understand, okay, what do I need to do? How can I support this change? So that's where you find that you will increase your fitness, you will increase your strength, and your shape will start to change. You will lose some weight. But I would say before it becomes really physically noticeable, you're looking at going over your first month into the second month, and you'll start to see those changes. The people around you who see you all like more often, or even those who only see you once every now and again, will notice the changes too, and they might be able to see them before you see them, because again, we are our worst critics, which is fine as long as you're not putting yourself in that sort of really negative mental headspace. So yeah, the run was good. yeah, it seemed to take longer today, even though it was quicker, which is sort of a strange thing. So I tried to pick up the pace a little bit, tried to sprint a bit down the home straight, but like my brother said to me, once you get to 40, you can't sprint anymore, which, as we know, it's not necessarily true, but it's quite funny trying to sprint and you literally get like 10 yards down the road and then your body's like, no, that was a silly idea. But no, feeling good. I'd say body's less achy. As I said before, I am going to be starting my body conditioning from next week. So now that my physical, the adaptations that I'm making to accommodate me running is working, I can now incorporate some more resistance-based physical elements, which are going to help just complement the run, but also help me with my overall strength and body tone. Again, I haven't weighed myself because I'm not bothered about my weight. I think I briefly mentioned before, I did a month, it might have been May might have been the month I did it, where I encouraged everyone to just make a stand and say, my weight does not define me. And a lot of the time it's easier said than done, but what we need to understand is, I was at work, for example, last night, and I was chatting to a couple of guys who are training, and they were asking some questions about bits, so naturally I offer some free advice because I'm good like that. But it then came to the let's guess your body weight. So I had a look at them. Having worked in the fitness industry for a long time, I'm quite good at guesstimating people's body weight. So I was only off by sort of like a few kilos for their body weight. I said, okay, how much do I weigh? Now, I always say to people, I'm deceivingly heavy. I don't always, at a first glance, look as heavy as I am, which is nice. And it's apparent because everyone put me at around 80 kilos, which was quite nice. I honestly don't know what 80 kilos is like. I don't think I've been 80 kilos since I was about 14. So, yeah, so I weigh about 100 kilos, and I have done for at least a decade. The lightest I've probably been is 95, and that was when I was really pushing and trying to be good with my fitness. And I just find that my body and my body weight and the way that my body is composed is, this is where I'm at. I know that I would need to regress in terms of some of my muscle mass if I do want to lose that weight. But again, the weight doesn't bother me. So I know that changing and adapting my training style will help with that if it's something I want to do. But in the meantime, I know I'm relatively fit. I know I'm relatively strong. I should be in relatively good health. But again, we never know. So it's, so I would say if you are basing your goals on weight, that's great. Use that, have that in the background, but don't use that as your primary. Like I've said before, focus on getting fitter, getting stronger, and honestly, the weight changes will come anyway, as long as you're being more physically active. Be sensible around your food. So again, don't restrict. I always use the policy, reduce, not restrict. The moment you restrict something, you tend to crave it or want it more because you've, like a child, when you take something away, you have a little tantrum about it. So focus on reducing the quantity. Take away 1 packet of crisps a day if that's what you find that you're eating quite frequently. Take away a packet of biscuits and just have 1 biscuit instead of a whole packet. I know this seems a bit extreme, but I'm trying to use examples that it's about just reducing the quantity and not saying to yourself, you cannot have it. Because that's where, again, you find that you lose motivation quickly because you feel like you're neglecting yourself and you want to enjoy life. But how can you possibly enjoy life with all these, convenience foods and things that we've been accustomed to, but still hit your goals? And you can do it. My clients know they can do it. I've got many who like wine, and I've said, well, I'm not going to stop you drinking your wine. Drink your wine. But just understand what your goals are and understand how your goals fit in to your lifestyle. And that's the important thing to remember. If you are wanting to become a professional athlete, yes, you're going to have to sacrifice a lot to do that. If you're just looking to get fitter, stronger, you don't have to really be that strict. You just need to make sure that you're implementing the bits and creating that balance in your life. So that's my thoughts for you on this Sunday. I'm working today. I really don't want to work today. I could do with just staying home, having one of those days where you just lay on the floor. I feel like I need to do that, have a serious stretch. My legs are getting better. They're not as tight, but I know I need to stretch a lot more. So I'm going to have to give that a go over the next couple of days. So I'm going to sign off. Have yourself a great day. Again, hit me up in the comments if you have any suggestions, if you have any comments, if you have anything you just want to, chat about. get in touch. You can find me on most of the social media platforms. I'm not on there heavily, but I'm on there. So feel free to get in touch, and hopefully we can motivate each other to maintain, not sort of just do a bit, drop off, do a bit, drop off, to actually make this a sustainable part of our lives. Oh, happy Sunday, peeps, and I'll catch up with you soon. Peace. Hey team, day 7. And yes, I do have ears. Taking the headphones off. The sun is shining on this rare day, this rare summer day in the UK, because we've been struggling for some weather recently, but I think the rain will return tomorrow. So back to norms. Run was good today. Day 7, feeling good about the run, feeling positive, forcing myself to get out of the house and do it. But the thing is, when I say forcing myself, it doesn't feel as much of a chore. So I'm going to take that as a win. And in good old fashioned sayings that I like to promote, particularly with clients, is celebrate the little victories. So doesn't matter how big it is, doesn't matter how small it is, always make sure you give yourself a positive and a big up for the effort that you've made. So yes, I got out of the house, I went for a run, feel good about doing it. The sun is shining, which is nice. That makes me feel better, as it's been quite glum. And yeah, just paced myself today. So what I worked on today is stride length. So I was just testing on my way around. So I slowed my pace a little bit, and then I was just testing different stride lengths just to see how I feel, trying to engage different muscle groups to see, because obviously if you lift your knees higher when you're running, you're going to exert more energy. It's going to be more tiring, you're going to put more effort out there. So I wanted to try a few different things, and then I was looking at foot placement. So by that I was looking at if my feet are slightly further in front, if my feet are behind, if my feet are underneath, trying to find out what felt comfortable, and again then concentrating on which part of my foot I land on. So I avoid heel striking. That's just because in all the years of doing fitness, and any time I'd run before and I was heel striking, I'd know that I'd have serious knee pain the next day. So I tend to aim more for, like I say, just behind the ball of the foot, around the center part of the foot. Not some landing flat-footed, don't get me wrong. And that seems to work for me. So that was quite nice. It's a good job I don't have hay fever. The ride on mowers out here at the minute, they're out in force. So the bit that I circle around is an old garrison. It's like an old military housing bit, and there's a lot of grass around their houses. And yep, their mowers are giving it a good one. So if you do have hay fever, I hope you're doing well today, particularly in the UK on this sunny day. So yeah, so I had to dodge a couple of mowers on my way round, but it was good. I did feel positive. I still ran a relatively decent time, actually, considering that I'm not going for time, I'm just going for getting it done. So that was a really good lift, a really good positive feel. So that's it, really. I've now got a day off. I had to change my days at work, so I've got a day off today, so I'm going to go out with the family. As here in the UK, if you are watching this from another nation, it's summer holidays, and the kids are off, causing drama. So I've now got to go and entertain them. I did toy with the idea of going on our day out and then doing the run on the day out, and I thought, you know what? Nah. No, I don't love it that much. So today starts the week of body conditioning as well. I did mention before that I normally do the first week of just incorporating the change or implementing the change, and then I focus on adding other elements which are just going to complement what it is that I'm doing, or assist in ensuring that you continue to make progress. Now remember, if you always do the same thing, you'll get results up until a point when the body becomes norm, it becomes second nature, it becomes routine. So the moment you get to that point where the body's like, yeah, we do this all the time, that's when you're likely to plateau. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's just saying, okay, if you still want progress, something has to change. So don't get disheartened by the plateau. It's not a bad thing. Sometimes you'll plateau, sometimes you'll fluctuate up and down. It's one of those things where it's going to happen. You can't always make continual progress every single time you check in. But it's important to understand, okay, my body's got used to that now. I'm fitter, I'm stronger, I'm healthier, I'm moving in the right direction. Okay, what do I need to just change? And it can be something really small. And that's why I say, like on my runs, the running, until I get to a point where my body accepts that running has got me to where I can be, that's when I add something else. But for now, I'm doing the body conditioning because I need to. I want to strengthen up my legs again. I want to make sure that I'm conditioned a bit more to, one, sustain this if I do decide to continue with the running. But if I do stop the running, then I've added another element, which means if I then decide that I don't want to run anymore, I'm not going to go into a complete stop. And then my life isn't going to revert directly back to where it was before, where I might have been doing slightly less. And this is what tends to happen to people who fall into that trap, where they just do the one thing, they reach a goal, and then they stop, thinking they can go back to the life they had before and still keep the gains. Doesn't work that way. So by incorporating another thing, that's going to help me ensure that I stay on track. So that's quite exciting, I suppose, provided that I do stick with at least one of the things. Cool, so I'm going to let you get on. I'm not going to bore you to tears with this one, but stay positive. Again, hit me up. Anything you want to know, anything you want to hear, yeah, let me know. And let's see what happens on day 8. Have a great day, peeps. Peace. Hey team, day 8. It was a tough one today actually. My body felt heavy. You know when you have those days where some days you leave the house and you're sort of bouncing around like Tigger, and then another day you'll wake up and your whole body just feels like every part of your body weight is in your feet, and it's just an effort to move. That's what it was like today. But I think it's my own fault because I didn't get a chance to have something to eat. I usually leave a bit of distance between eating something or having like a bit of coffee before I go out for a run, and I didn't. There wasn't enough of a gap, so I'm blaming myself for that one. But still, got the job done. Interesting run today. Because I felt heavy, I thought, you know what, let's just get round it. But I tried a few things by running on the grass instead of on the concrete, and that's an interesting run. I was saying it's amazing how your body adapts to the terrain, and then your running style actually changes. So on the concrete, you know, you tend to move quite well when it's a flat, so you can manage your pace and everything quite well. When I changed to grass, although it felt softer, I was finding myself lifting on my knees a little bit higher with every stride, almost like I was running slightly uphill. So that was interesting. So although it was making me work a bit harder, I didn't feel like I was having to exert that much more energy to do it. You were just conscious of the change in feel, and the instability, I suppose, because you didn't have, like with the concrete, it's just solid, it's firm. With the grass, you never know what's going to happen. And if you hit a tuft or a pothole or something like that, then that throws you off. But it was good. I felt good for doing it. I tried to run a little bit faster down the back straight, but body wasn't doing it today. Really wasn't doing it. Oh, but we're into, like I say, another week. So let's just try and stay positive. What can we take from this run? Legs are getting stronger, although my calves are still a bit tight, so I've got a lot of work to do with the mobility and stretching. So that's a big thing to bear in mind, is always make sure you do a bit of stretching and focus on various exercises, particularly for the calf muscles, because they do take a lot of strain when you're running. One mobility exercise that you can do that I've seen a lot of people recommend is ABCs, so your alphabet of rotating your ankle. So you sort of basically draw each letter of the alphabet with your foot, in essence, to get full sort of rotations, mobility, stretchings and all that stuff in. So that's a good way of sort of helping, just to ensure that you're doing something. You don't even have to do that standing, you can do it sat down if you need to. Oh, so I do need to get my stretching game on. But it's difficult because I'm on my feet all day as well. Like I said, I do, but anywhere between sort of 15, some of my big days I'm doing 15 to 20,000 steps a day. So with running on top of that, I don't get a lot of time to sit down. So that obviously puts additional strain on the legs, particularly. The tree's just falling apart, and particularly when, like you say, you're throwing in running, which is still tough. Come on now. But I'm hoping that as we're into the second week, that I'm going to start noticing differences in the way that I feel. Like I say, I do feel fitter. I do feel that when I get around the run, I feel better for doing it. Like I say, leaving the house is definitely easier, so that's a massive win. and I almost convinced myself to go a little bit further than the mile, because I know there's another little route. If I just do another loop around this other housing estate, it adds on about another half mile. So I thought, do I go for the 1.5 miles? But my brain's not there yet. I was just like, do you know what, actually you feel quite heavy, just get this done, do the route that you know, because then you know where you sort of finish. If you suddenly run off somewhere else, you've got to drag your ass all the way back. So that was good. That was good. Oh, so make sure you hydrate. Really, really important. People underestimate how much the muscles rely on your fluid, and the body and the organs on the fluids, particularly if you've exerted yourself through exercise. So please make sure you stay hydrated. As I've said numerous times before, stretch mobility, that's key. So keep that going and stay on top of that. And then, like I say, the body conditioning. So I've only started really, really gently. So I'm doing a few sets of my squats and lunges, nice and easy. I've got some push-ups in there just for overall body strength and core, and then a sort of a mini abs sort of section. So it only takes me about 10 minutes to do. It's not a really big thing. It's just getting started, and then you can go and add or tweak or change from there. But you don't need a full gym workout. If you're not interested in the gym, you can do certain things from home. So like I say, if you are following my channel, by all means look at some of the other workouts I put on. I posted a load randomly during the lockdown period. So there's some of them on there which you can use to get you started before I put some new ones on. It looks like it's going to rain again. It's nice and grey here. Not sure what's happening with this UK summertime. Let's say I like the rain, but it would be nice for a bit of sun. So we had one day of sun yesterday. That was nice, because obviously I took the family out, but I need a lift. Need that lift, bit of sun. I'm going to sign off. So stay tuned. I'll keep you updated for the next day and see how I go. And I might push myself a little bit further. You'll have to let me know if I should. So have a great one, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace. Hey team. Okay. So we're on day 11. So I've crossed over the first 10 days. I'm on day 11. The weather isn't really sure what it's doing today, just so you know. So I've just run through, pretty much, the blackest cloud. And now the sun is sort of popped out from behind it briefly. So I don't know if that cloud is just going to suddenly dump its load on me, or if that's it and it's moving on to scare someone else. Nevertheless, the joys of British summertime. We did get 2 full sunny days the other day with no rain. Not where I am anyway. There's probably showers somewhere. But yeah, so I managed to get out. So I did a brief update yesterday. It's very, very brief, because I was out with the family yesterday, and that sort of covered day 9 and 10. So I just want to sort of touch on that a little bit as well. So on day 9, I was on a meeting in London. So I got to go back to London, where I'm from. And the meeting took place in Putney, which was great. So I managed to go and sort of go to the Thames, run along the Thames, which was lovely. Absolutely loved it. I need more of that in my life. And then I got to go and see the old estates and stuff where I used to live and play, and the parks I used to go to with my siblings. So that was really nice too. So it was good to sort of just take some time and go to London and do a bit of sightseeing. Which is handy when you're from London, because you know all the cut-throughs. So I didn't even need to get on the underground. You could just walk through everywhere, because you know where everywhere is. And then day 10, yesterday, I was out with the family, because I had a day off work. And while the kids were in the park, I went and did my run. So that was quite a tough one, because one, I didn't have the right shoes on. So I realised that when I said, oh, I'm going to go for a run, I thought, crap, I haven't got obviously running shoes, so I don't generally wear my I'm going to go for a run shoes on a general day out. So that was tough. And then what I also found, I didn't touch on this yesterday, is I'm motivated heavily by music, and I also use that as a distraction. So I find that when I'm running without music, all I can hear is the sound of my breathing, which probably sounds like I'm heavily asthmatic, which I'm not. Or I find that I can hear the sound of me hitting the floor, and in my brain it sounds like I'm like really thudding along, when I'm probably not. But it's one of those where when I've got my headphones on, I don't really care. I just do it. If I'm breathing heavy, if I'm like proper panting and spit's coming out my face, it doesn't bother me when I've got my music on. But I'm more aware of it when I'm not. What I did find actually from running without music, some of these who enjoy running to the sound of, they'll say nature and stuff, whatever, where they, you know, they can get into a rhythm I think a little bit easier, because I noticed that I found a sort of a pace that was relatively comfortable to me, whereas I find that when I run with my music, my pace, my rhythm and everything can change depending on the music that I'm listening to. So I usually have to find a track that I'm either motivated by, especially when it gets tough, or one that has a certain BPM, which helps me sort of set my pace. Yeah, so that was interesting. Equally, each run still feels tough. I know it's only a sort of a mile, so all those who do more, I know this is great. You know, you do amazing jobs and you're running, and it's great that you're motivated by that. But it's just a challenge. Just running is just not, it's really not for me. But I'm sticking at it anyway. I'm giving it that go. I'm pushing through. And like I said a couple days ago, I do notice my fitness has improved, my running fitness has improved, because obviously doing lots of fitness classes and training and stuff, I find that my fitness is pretty good anyway. But then running, from day 1 and day 2, where I nearly died, and then up till now, I'm definitely in a better place, and I recover quicker from my runs. I've always had quite a good recovery fitness anyway, but I recover a lot quicker from my runs now, so that's pretty positive. Ooh, there's horses walking by. So yes, that makes me feel good about myself. Where are they going? Please don't come this way. And then, yeah, like I said, the difference between running in the warm of the sun and also running in the rain, I'm definitely more of a drizzle or a rain runner. Running in the sun is great, but because I'm hot all the time anyway, I find that it just makes me hotter, and then I sweat standing still. So a bit of sunshine and there you go, I'm pouring. Whereas in the rain or in the drizzle, I don't know, I just seem to find a better flow and I just get the job done a lot quicker. I think one of the fastest times I set was when I was running in the rain. So that was good, that was positive. Starting to incorporate, like I said before, the body conditioning elements, which is going to help just focus on general strength and condition of my muscles to accommodate and at least complement my running. Again, all over body conditioning. I'm just using stuff at home, so it's body weight exercise primarily. I'm not going to the gym or anything right now. So it is just little home workouts, which are just as effective. You don't have to do a lot, and I mentioned briefly yesterday, you don't have to spend a great deal of time. So it's one of those where I'm saying to people, yes, there's a recommendation. In the UK, the government recommends that there should be 150 minutes of physical exercise or activity done each week. Now, again, when you break it down, it's not a lot really. So you're looking at just breaking that down to say 30 minutes a day, for argument's sake. And it's getting people to understand that although that's a guideline, most of us are quite active anyway. So, you know, I was saying like the average parents who do school runs and things, if you're always walking to and from the school, that's still activity. Where that falls down is that becomes routine, and that's your new normal. So you then need to do something a little bit extra or different in order to get that extra activity level if you want to progress. So if you want to see a change in your body shape, if you want to see a change in your fitness levels, energy levels, and even if it is one of your goals, if you want to see a change in your body weight, is that you need to then add that little bit of something extra or something different to challenge the body. So I was saying yesterday that my run takes about 10 minutes. So if you can only do 10 minutes, then just do 10 minutes. Because that's probably 10 minutes more than you were doing before. It's 10 minutes of an activity that might exert you more than other activities you have in your life. But also you might find that as you're getting used to it, you don't want to absolutely knacker yourself out for the rest of your day. Now, this isn't me trying to find barriers. This isn't me trying to find excuses for you. This is me stating fact. I've lived through this. I've done it myself. A lot of my training and the principles I pass on to my clients is based on my own personal experiences as well as the knowledge. And it's saying to people, if you can only start with 10 minutes a day, then you just do that 10 minutes a day, because that's still a win. Remember, we celebrate the little victories. So do those 10 minutes, and then you might find that the next day you think, do you know what? Maybe if I do 12 minutes, or maybe if I do 10 minutes now and then did another 5 minutes of something later in the day, then you've got yourself, 15 minutes in that daytime of doing something different, challenging the body in a different way. Lots of people will sort of say, oh, but that's not going to make a difference. Trust me, it will, because it's additional to whatever you're doing in life. So even if it doesn't make a physical change, you're going to notice that change internally with your ability to either walk further, not get so out of breath as quickly, lift things. If you find that you struggle lifting, you might find that you're stronger there's other things to look at aside from body shape, aside from weight. There's so many different things you have to consider that people overlook because they're so used to looking at the superficial. So that's where you start. That's my 2 pennies worth, is say, if that's all you can do, then for now, that's all you do. But don't then get comfortable and use that as your, oh, but they said I only need to do 10 minutes, that's all I'm going to do. Because you'll need to then change that up again. And if you can then double it up into sets and say, right, I'll do 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening, 20 minutes a day of something that's going to exert you and make you, you know, break from that comfort zone, that's a win, my friend. That is a win. So see how you get on. Let me know how you're getting on. I'm really keen to know how you're doing on your own journeys and where you started to where you're going now. It's important to obviously be careful with social media. Again, I'm not going to take anything away or slam it, but what I find with a lot of the social medias and the people that pop up on my pages, they're people who are in really, really good shape saying, do this because you'll get this. And it's like, I get that, but then when I scroll through their feed, like even right back, if I can get as far back as their first post, you never see where they were at the beginning. And this isn't to say that they weren't there, don't get me wrong. But if you're showing me a really pert round butt, what's that progressed from? If you really want to motivate someone, show me where you were and then how you got there. Because showing me that it's like your body is absolutely shredded and you go to the gym 5 times a week, that's great, and I applaud that, and that's a lifestyle that you can live and achieve and maintain. Wicked. But I just want to see those steps before. You do see some transformations where people have really made like amazing transformations. That's sort of where I work with a lot of people who are in a place where they just want to get healthy, they just want to get fit and strong, and they do take longer to get there because their body isn't conditioned at all. We're sort of literally starting from 0 and then building up. So I'd like to see, you know, some people who are really, really mega fit, you know, just open up, let people see you for how you once were, to give them the extra motivation, say, do you know what, actually I'm going to follow that person because I saw where they came from, look where they are now, not just because they've always been fit. And again, I'm not slanging those people, it's just saying, you know, be careful who you follow and be careful whose advice you're trying to take, because sometimes it's not tailored enough to sort of speak to you in a way that helps you find where you're going. So yeah, don't be afraid to be selective. It's healthy to be selective. And anyone that you look at and think, yeah, that's lovely, and then you just scroll past and you don't ever actually look at their advice, their workouts, their tips, their tricks, anything like that, you might as well just bin them off, because there's no point in having them or following them because you're not utilizing that information. Which is why I don't have many followers. But then I don't care, that's not why I do it. So if you are following me, thanks. Let's be friends. So I've got to go. I've got to get ready for work, and the kids have got some stuff to do this afternoon. So yes, run went well today. The sun has come out again. I don't know how long for, but it has come out. The run felt good. My legs aren't as tight, and they sort of seem to ease up a lot more as I do get home. So the mobility exercises and stretches I'm doing are starting to pay off. Right, time to do another sort of 10-15,000 steps at work. Yay! So again, hit me up, get in touch. Comment if you want to comment, troll if you want to troll, and I will I'll keep you updated as where we're getting as we go into day number 12. So all the best, peeps. Peace. Hey peeps, so today you are looking at a broken man. Oh, that was hard. So I didn't report back yesterday because yesterday was a crazy busy day. Yeah, sun's come out now. It was pissing down just a minute ago. Weather seriously cannot make its mind up. But at least we know we've had a shit summer this year, because it's when you know you haven't even been able to get like the paddling pool out, and you know that there hasn't been like a hose pipe ban, then you know you've not really had summer. We had like a week in June where it was like warm and everyone complained. And now, like say, this has come out now, you put your washing on the line just for 2 seconds and then you quickly get it in because it rains again. We're back to that sort of time, and then the shops are already advertising autumn stuff, so there you go. Anyway, back to the run. So yeah, really tough. So yesterday was a crazy busy day. So I had, like I say, a day off and a family day. So I got my run done quick so I could go out with the family. No, I didn't. I did it the other way around. So we wanted to go to the boot sale. So we did the boot sale, then I did my run. And then a friend of mine fell ill, so I covered her body pump class. Haven't taught body pump for a little while because obviously I changed jobs. So I took a little bit of a break from teaching just to take some time out. And bloody hell, I battered myself. I battered them as well, but everything ached today. So that's why I didn't report yesterday, because I was teaching. And then after teaching, I went straight to work. Worked my shift. Woke up today, took the family out for a walk, did my run, my body. So everything hurts, which is good, because it means that I worked something. It's not hurt to the point that I feel like I can't function. But when your legs are achy and you've got that serious case of DOMS from working out, and you then try to use your limbs to run, yeah, that just doesn't go down too well. So I managed to drag my ass around. So I did a slower pace because there was no way. My body was not prepared. Every part of my brain was like, should we go a bit quicker? My body was like, nah. So I got around. Still did a half decent pace considering that it was tough, but did the run. And that's again part of the battle, part of the thing that I'm sort of saying, and I've said in the last couple of videos, is it's very easy to hit that wall. Like you say, now that I'm at sort of day 13 of the run, it's this first point when you get 2 weeks in where the honeymoon period for many of us may have passed, and then you're suddenly thinking, oh, do you know what, this is becoming an effort. And when you get to that point, it's important to sort of just realign yourself with your goals and take that time to say, okay, I'm starting to get demotivated. Why am I getting demotivated? Now for me, one of the things that I find demotivates me is the fact that I always do exercises or physical activity, one that is very challenging to me because I do like a challenge, but two, that I hate. I don't like running. I can tell you now, at the end of this challenge, I will not be continuing. But that being said, it's important to try and find something that you like, which is why you need to try multiple things. When someone says, oh, I want to go to the gym, or oh, I want to go into a class, or I'm going to start swimming, or I'm going to start running, the problem is you might just choose one thing. And then when someone quits, let's say, for example, New Year's resolutions as an example, when everyone goes to the gym or decides to take out a gym membership, I've always defended those who start at the gym and then drop off for the very reason that it might not be for them. Everyone's assuming that when someone starts going to the gym, that they're just going to stay with it forever, like those who enjoy going to the gym. But what you've got to understand is they might just be trying something to get fitter, to get, to make themselves feel healthy, or even just to get in shape. But then when they take out that membership, they're like, actually, I don't like this. This isn't for me. And that is totally fine. So when they then leave, it's not that they failed. They may have lost a couple of pounds if they had a weight goal. They may have found that, they're a little bit fitter. Or they may have just thought, you know what, this honestly isn't my thing. And that's fine. So they haven't failed, because they could be the ones that are later on doing the marathons and the Ironman runs, because they suddenly thought, do you know what? Don't like the gym, but quite like running. So you've got to try those different things to find what works for you. So when you're getting to this point that I was saying at the beginning, before I went on a bit of a waffle, usually 2 weeks in, you'll start to be motivated about what you want to do. The first week is tough, but you might be semi-motivated because it's new. The second week, that's when it's becoming routine. And that's when you're getting to the point where it's like, okay, this is a tough gig. What can I do? Starting to feel flat. Might be plateauing a tiny bit if you found that your fitness and everything was in a really good place to begin with. Then you need to say, okay, what else, like I was saying, can I add? Or what can I tweak? Or what can I change? Or start looking for those physical activities that you enjoy. Because if you enjoy them, you're going to do them, and you're not going to feel like it's a chore. So that's what you need to try and do. It's difficult for me because I've taken on this challenge of running, so that competitive part of my brain will make me do it. But yeah, find your thing. And it could be multiple things. It could be frisbee. I mean, I was thinking about doing skipping the other day, and then we were walking down the road with the kids and they got the hopscotch thing. I did the hopscotch. Oh my gosh, my body just does not like jumping. But then having said that, put me in a dance class, I'm all over the place. So it's like finding that element that motivates you to do it. Yeah, hopscotch is really hard now. So what else can I tell you? Yeah, still feeling fitter, feeling a bit stronger. Like I said, I'm adding body conditioning to help complement my running, but because obviously I was doing it gradually with some bodyweight exercises and to throw myself in a body pump class. If you've never done body pump, it is a really good class actually, for those who want to build you know, muscular strength and endurance, work on overall body conditioning. It is really, really good. It does take a little while to get used to because there's some quick transitions between the exercises within the tracks, but you do cover full body, you use barbells, dumbbells, body weight. It's, you know, you're free to use pretty much what you want within the class. But I do recommend that if there's someone trying or thinking about trying something new, and if you like structure, more often than not the instructors will use the same routines. You know, if you're following Les Mills' brand, who came up with body pump correctly, then yes, for the sort of 2 to 3 months you should be using the same release. But you'll find that you'll start to learn, and then you'll know, and then you can tweak your weights once you get comfortable and confident with the exercises. So yes, good run today. I'm glad I got it done. I've got to work again tonight. So it's going to be interesting going up and down the stairs, because normally I fly up and down them, but I might have to delegate. Someone else is going to be dragging their ass up and down stairs today, I tell you. Still stay on your track of mobility, flexibility. So again, even if it was only 5 minutes of stretching a day, remember you've got to start somewhere. So the stretching is important, even if you find that you're not physically exerting yourself to the point that you're broken. It's still important to sort of work on those flexible elements, because that does help with injury prevention, and can make you feel better about yourself if you find that your range of motion and your range of movement is improved or better. You can have less achy joints, you can have, you know, less muscle tightness, and hopefully you'll just enjoy your body more. So yeah, so I hope you have had a good week and a good weekend. Like you say, we're ending day 13, feeling positive about the fact that I got it done, not feeling positive about having to run. I have started doing a couple of different routes to try and add variety to my brain. It doesn't change the fact that I just hate running. I'm really sorry. I might have to go running with someone, no, because then they'll have to listen to me breathe, and then they might want to talk, and then yeah. Anyway, so I don't waffle too much, because I don't want to bore you all to tears, but let me know how you're getting on. Let me know what motivates you. Let me know what challenges you've been facing, and hopefully we can motivate each other again. That's the main thing, creating this community of motivation. So I'm going to sign off. Have yourself a great day, and I will see you on day 14. Peace. Hey team, day 15. We are halfway through the month of this challenge, and it's going pretty well. I've hit a really sort of tough couple of days. So yesterday I didn't get to give you an update, so update on 14, serious DOMs. So for those familiar with exercise, you'll know what DOMs are. Those less familiar, your DOMs, your delayed onset muscle soreness, which is when you sort of work your body slightly harder than it was probably expecting, and then you get that muscle ache. I'm not going to say the word pain, because it should be more of like an ache. It can last for a fair few days. It might not manifest itself for the first few days, so anything up to sort of 72 hours, and it can sort of still show itself depending on how hard you've pushed yourself. And you normally get these aches and pains when you first embark on a new exercise or physical activity. So for example, I hadn't taught body pump, because I took a little bit of a break from my fitness classes, so I hadn't taught body pump for a while. So when I covered the class and went in and hit it quite hard, because as instructors we do, I knew that my body was just going to sort of hate me. So it's taken sort of a couple of days. My chest is still sore, or my muscles are tight from the push-ups, because this track that I did was just ridiculous. So yes, so my body's been tight, my legs were heavy. I said to a few people that they were so tight, you know, like when you've really had a solid leg workout, or if you've done legs, bums and tums or something, you've not done it for a while, and then you have to hold onto the wall as you slowly lower yourself down onto the toilet seat or something. It was one of those where it was just an effort, and it felt like when I was trying to jog, to get my legs to move, it almost felt like I was carrying someone on my back. So it was tough, but again, still got it done. Obviously slower pace, but then I'm not too bothered, because my main goal was just getting it done. So yeah, so that's positive. I feel good about the fact that I still got it done, but it's been a tough, like the past couple of days have been a real tough gig. So yeah, aside from that, I'm sort of doing well. Day 15, the sun's come out, so the past 2 days it's been crap again, British weather. We've had no sun really, not consistent. Yesterday was grey, might have been a couple of breaks of sun where the clouds forgot what their job was. But going well, pushing through it, trying to stay motivated. Like I said, I'm at that point, it's halfway through the month, but you're also at that breaking point, I've said in another video, where you almost feel like you could just give up. And this is that make or break moment. And this is where I would say to people, when you get that feeling that you want to quit, that's when you dig in and get it done, because then you're going to start noticing the results. So like I said, I've been running a mile a day for the past 15 days now. I do notice my fitness, and always remember, you've got your fitness in terms of your cardiovascular fitness, where you're getting better and you can sort of sustain for longer. You might notice that also when you're going up and down stairs. You can go for longer walks, you can play, if you've got kids, dogs, whatever, you can play with them without getting sort of too tired. But also, what I always say to people, focus on what I refer to as your recovery fitness. So how long does it take for you to get back to feeling like normal? Because people overlook that one, and that's an important thing to remember, is that when you walk upstairs, are you still out of breath for like a couple of minutes afterwards? Or do you find that after, say, 30 seconds, you feel better again? Do you find that after you've gone for a jog, your breathing is back to a steady pace, you're not sweating as much? I'm really sweaty, bad example. But that's again a sign that your fitness recovery level has improved, which is again going to help you with, I'm getting attacked, your overall sort of health. Because if your body recovers well from physical exertion and it doesn't prolong that almost like stress on the body, that's just going to be like helping you no end in terms of building up your cardiovascular, pulmonary strength, resistance, and just health. So there's lots of added benefits. You know, your circulatory system is going to be working really, really well. So all these things add benefits. So it's important to take note of those, and as I've always said, celebrate the little victories. Really sing your praises. You know, you do anything, you go for that longer walk, you might only do an extra couple of 100 meters, but every little thing should be celebrated because it's progress, it's moving forward, and it's getting the job done. So that's where I'm at. So I had to try and cram it in. I didn't get to report yesterday because work was, I had to go out with the family. And this is another real thing. I had to go out with the family. By the time I got home, I had a very short window before I needed to get ready for work. So it was a case of, I could have said, I'm going to give it a miss today because it's going to be too much of a rush. And I thought, you know what, actually, I can get that 10 minutes in. So I did the 10 minutes, had a quick stretch, which wasn't good enough, which is why my legs were a bit tight today. But I got it done. And then I had to hobble up and down stairs all day. So yes. Here's to getting it done. So I hope you are doing well. I hope you're doing well on your journeys, whatever they may be. Remember to stay positive, stay open, ride those challenges, reach out to support networks if you do find that it's getting a bit tough, if you do find that you're struggling a little bit. Have a look at what parts of it you're struggling with. Is it the physical element? Because remember, it's about doing it. It's not always about breaking yourself every time you do something. So if you need to tone it down like one day and use it as almost like a mild rest day, you can always tone it down, eliminate any sort of resistance training that day if it's too tough, and focus on just getting out, doing your walking and building up your cardio strength, and then go back to the resistance the next day. Or even just if you find that mentally you're struggling and you don't really know where you're going while you're doing it, then use that time to honestly sit down and work it out, because you need to still focus on your mental strength. So take that time to chill, reevaluate your goals, realign them with where you're going, and as I said in another video, decide whether the physical activity you're doing is suitable for your goals, but also to motivate you, to make you want to do it. Don't be afraid to try different things. And even if you've got a buddy, say to someone, look, would you mind coming with me on this one, because I'm struggling a bit, come with me on this walk. And eventually you'll start to build up that, and you might even inspire and motivate someone else, who knows. Oh, so I've got to go and get ready for work now. Joy. So thank you very much for joining me so far and for staying with me. If you do have any questions, honestly, fire them my way. If there's anything I can offer some feedback on, I will always do that. Remember, like all of us, we don't have all the answers. We can find the answers, and we'll always just talk to you from our own experiences, either in the industry or just in life. So don't be afraid to sort of drop us a message, get in touch, and hopefully we can win this together. We can. Yes, we can. So, signing off. Take it easy, peeps. Hey, team. Gosh, it's warm out here. The sun came out for a bit. Absolutely roasting. It's gone behind the clouds again. Shock horror. Just a quick update, really, on where I'm at. So, day 16. Bossing it. So today I had an early shift, rare early shift at work. So I got that done, picked the family up in town, and then decided to do my run just now. And I've worked out that I'm an evening kind of guy for a workout. That's where I'm optimal. I know that because I'm a night owl. Although I can do days, I find that I'm at my best, and physically I'm in a better position, and mentally I'm in a better position by the evening. So got my run done, ran around quite quick really, considering, or it felt quick, it felt comfortable. So that's a positive. And that's another thing that I'll just sort of say, is find the time of day that works for you. Some people say, oh, let's go for a workout at 5 o'clock in the morning. Sod that shit. Not in a bad way. I'm not that good in the morning, and I'm definitely not going to work out in the morning. If I can't get myself out of bed comfortably at that time and be in a good mood to even lovingly speak to my wife and children, why the hell am I going to go and work out? So I know that evenings are for me. So find out the time that works for you. If you find that evenings are good for you, then do evenings. Try and fit that in. Make that time for the evening. If you are a daytime person, do it in the day. And again, it all depends on lifestyle, what you've got between work, home life, and all that stuff. But try and fit in what you can at the times that best suit you. And that's another thing as well. If you are living or suffering with medical conditions or ailments or anything that might affect your ability to partake in certain physical activities, you need to judge it by the time of day as well. That's really important. So you know that a lot of people with arthritis, and even those with fibromyalgia and things like that, you'll have flare-ups usually at certain times. Normally in the mornings or early daytimes. You'll have like a late morning usually, possibly pushed to the early afternoon, where you might be feeling like your body's responding well. So then you've got to sort of use those windows of opportunity. And it's not saying put yourself in a position where you're going to like feel it more and more later, but you need to sort of do a little bit in those good time slots, because it will start to sort of hopefully help either manage any conditions you're living with, or at least give you the little benefits for that small amount of time that you're able to do it. So find the time of day that works for you. So yes, halfway through the month, going really, really well. Got so much going on for the next few weeks, so my time is going to be really, really stretched, but it's about making it work, making that time, committing to it, and just getting it done. So I do feel positive today. Rare day off tomorrow, preparing for my little one's birthday coming up, so taking them out tomorrow. So I've got to try and fit my run in again around doing all of that. But a few little body conditioning exercises that again I'm going to start doing or tweaking at home. So that's exciting. And I did something today, which I don't normally do, and I didn't want to do, but I weighed myself. And again, I'm not bothered by the weight. As I've said before, my weight, there's a wasp. My weight does not define me. But I think since I've started running, and I'm only doing the mile a day, nothing else has really changed in my life at the minute. I've not even changed a lot of my foods. I'm down 3 kilos. Which is quite exciting, which has put me at around 98 kilos. So like I say, I'm usually around 100 kilos. I am a standard 100 to 102. I'm normally around that mark. So to get down to sort of 98, I got on and off the scales quite a few times just to check, and it kept giving me the same reading. So I thought that's positive. So yeah, that's always good. I don't feel lighter, not gonna lie, but again, weight is just a number. So yes, I suppose that's a positive as well. Celebrate those little victories, yes! So, whatever you're doing, again, hit me up if you've got anything that you're trying, if you're lacking motivation or just wanting to have a chat, by all means get in touch. And yeah, let's roll on the tail end of this mile a day challenge and see what happens as we go into the next month. Why are we even looking forward to the next months of challenges? Why do we do that to ourselves? So in the meantime, team, have yourself a great day. get out for a walk, enjoy the weather if it's nice where you are, and I will report back tomorrow. Peace. Hey team, that was a sweaty one. So the sun was out again, but that cloud, it must just follow me. Do you know what? Maybe it's my cloud. But either way, made it nice and cool. So day 18 of the mile a day challenge for the month. And yeah, going really well. Trying to pick up the pace a little bit. Now that my body's not aching ridiculously, I'm able to pick the pace up just a little bit. And that's good. I'm finding that I'm going a bit quicker in my first mile, well, first lap, because of where I'm running, generally speaking, it's sort of like 2 laps of it. So the first lap I go off a little bit quicker now, but then I feel that in the second one. And it's tough. But then I'm sort of half motivated because I know it's the second lap, so I know that every step and every turn of this estate, it's close to the finish. So that's a win. Yeah, so it's quite tough. In the second lap, I got a bit of a stitch creeping in towards the end, but they say no pain, no gain. Sometimes you can have pain and still get no gain. So yes, it's going really, really well. Day 19 is going to be a tricky one. It's my eldest birthday tomorrow, so I may have to sacrifice the run tomorrow and use that as a rest day, so I can make the most of the day with them, because I don't want to cut it short, so just so I can fit this run in. But depending on what we do, if I'm back in time, I will do the run. But I'm not going to make a specific plan to, because it's important to me that on these special days and these milestones, particularly with my kids, that I'm there and I'm present, and that's what I want to be. Because the one thing I've always said, and I had this discussion with work, is time is one thing that you can't get back. So it's important to be present. It's important to make the most of the time that we have. It's one of the biggest barriers that we ever talk about in sort of the fitness industry. It's a big one that everyone battles with in terms of, can they make the time? Can they fit the time in? Do they want to spend that time? Because they might have something more important, more pressing. And the thing about time, it's saying to yourself, well, okay, if you don't have that time today, can you have that time tomorrow? And the whole point of it is not to say, put yourself out 7 days a week. You don't need to do that. It's about saying to yourself, okay, have a look at your average day. What time can you allow? What time can you spare? And I always say this one thing to my clients. Tell me how many days a week you potentially want to train. Now, I always make a point of saying, when you tell me how many days a week you can train, I want to know how many days you can train without fitting it in. Days that you feel you've got free enough to train without trying to squeeze it in. Because if you're going to squeeze something in, you ain't going to do it. So start with that, and the same with time. Have a look at your day. If you say, for example, let's say you work a stereotypical 8-hour day, and then you've got a few bits in the evening where you can chill or some downtime. If you've got any time that potentially can be used, that's the free time that you can allocate to something like physical activity or embarking on a plan or working towards your goals. But again, if it's going to be a rush, if you're going to squeeze it, if it's going to be tight, if it's going to stress you, you're not going to do it. Or you might do it once or twice and then you'll just stop. So we want to try and find that time. People say they don't have time. Have a look at your screen time. So this is a thing that we can obviously do nowadays with technology and everything that we couldn't do back in the day with PTs. Your phone will record how often you are on it. It will tell you how often you use certain apps. It will tell you how long you spend. And I think there's something like a scary statistic which says that most people spend like at least 4 hours a day, is it, or something, just scrolling on their phones. I'll have to check that. That fact might have changed. It might be completely fabricated. But it's one of those whereas if you've got that much time to scroll, you can use some of that time to embark on a physical activity by looking at your nutrition and trying to create more balanced or healthy lifestyle choices. So it's trying to say, okay, what time can I use? I know in the evenings, that's the time I like to sit down with the wife, and we tend to watch like series on Netflix. There are other streaming providers around, and we like to chill. Now that time is important too. It's not saying that we have to eat into your downtime. It's just saying create that balance. And, you know, whilst I like to sit and we watch, and sometimes we binge watch like a whole series, you know, like 8 episodes or something, we'll just sit there and like back to back to back to back. And again, that's good for us because it's our downtime. It's late at night. I'm not going for a run at 10 o'clock at night. So try and say to yourself, okay, how about if I want to watch a movie or I want to do that, let's do something before I do that. Like today, I've gone out for a run before I'm going to start settling down, getting the kids ready for bed, doing all the bits and pieces that I do with my wife. So it's trying to find, like I said, strike that balance, find that time, align it with your goals. You don't need to do endless hours of workouts. You don't need to do endless hours of food prep. You don't need to do all this stuff. It's very specific to what you're training for, and it's very specific to your goals. So it's important to remember that. Okay, I feel like I've cooled down a little bit. I don't think I'm as shiny. So that's a positive. So day 18 went really well. I'm proud of myself for doing it. And on another positive note, I looked at myself in the mirror today and I noticed a physical change. So like I say, it's taken 18, pushing, like I say, towards the 20-day mark. And I've always said to clients, the first 2 weeks is going to be the chance where you're going to feel the difference. You'll feel whether you're a little bit fitter, you'll feel whether you're a bit stronger, your recovery fitness will be improving, so you won't be as tired, you might have more energy. Those are very real things that you'll notice in the first couple of weeks. As you push towards week 4, that's when you'll start to notice some physical changes, or at least the people around you might notice that before you. So the fact that I'm coming up to week 3 and I've noticed some physical changes, which is great, that's a big boost as well. That's a big plus, because it's something that I was going for as a slight shape change. I wasn't bothered, like say, about my weight. It was more about changing my shape, because I know that my shape is a big thing that makes me feel comfortable, particularly in clothes. I can't afford to buy new clothes right now, so it's one of those where I need to make sure that I still fit into my clothes. So yeah, that's a win. Yeah, a win. Okay, so on that note, I will leave you. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for following and taking the time to follow my journey. Yeah, and if you do know of any other challenges, hit me up, because I'm looking to see what I could possibly embark on next month. Possibly, we'll see. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But for now, focus on those main points again. Remember, find the time, have a look around, assess your diary if you have a diary, calendar, whatever it is. Have a look at your average day, see if you've got any downtime. Remember, it only needs to be 10-15 minutes. It doesn't have to be a long time, because I know that an hour can be daunting for many of us to try and make that time. So if you can fit 10-15 minutes in without squeezing it in, where you can say, yeah, I could do that during the ad break, then crack on and do that. And then you want to find that time a few times a week. Start off with, you know, even 2 or 3 times a week, where you can say, right, I can do 10 minutes. And then instead of adding more days, that's when you say, right, can I actually add an extra 5 minutes? Can I add the extra 10 minutes? So then you're saying doing 15-20 minutes a day instead of the 10 minutes. And again, that's progress, because you're doing longer, you're going to be exerting for longer. And baby steps, but celebrate the victories. Remember, the little victories. Always celebrate those victories, because that's going to motivate you, and then get those people on your side who really genuinely support you, and get them to celebrate those victories with you. I'm going to leave it there. So thank you very much for listening. Have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend if you've got any plans, and let's hope this weather does pick up again for us. So take it easy, peeps. Peace. Hey team, day 20. 20 full days of running. Well, actually that makes it sound better than it was. I haven't done full days of running, as anyone who's been following me knows. I've done 20 days consecutively doing a mile jog a day. Yes. And anyone who really knows me knows, running, jogging, anything above a walk pace is my nemesis. It's one of those ones that I really have to work at in order to get it done. But strangely, coming over the past sort of few days in particular, I found this, not want, this need to just keep going. Because let me tell you, I don't want to do it. I'm going to be open and honest. This is a real challenge for me. Running is not my thing. So it is a real challenge. It's a real effort. So want would be, oh, that'd be something. but I need to do it because I've set this up myself, and I'm one of those people where I'm sort of all or nothing, where I really set my mind on something and I get it done, or at least push for it, and that's where I'm at. I made a commitment to this month, I made a commitment to myself, and I want to follow through with it. And that's one thing that I just wanted to briefly sort of elaborate on, is when you do these tasks, when you set these goals, when you challenge yourself, I always say that the primary driver needs to be you. You need to want the goals for yourself. You need to want the change or the challenge for yourself. There's a lot of times where I've spoken to clients, or I've just spoken to people generally, who are trying to make a change, and the change they want to make is for someone else. It might be for a partner, it might be for family, it might be for work or something, and it's getting them to understand primarily that change needs to be for you. So you need to find that reason to do it for you. Secondary, yes, do it for friends, do it for family, do it for work, do it whatever that is, but primarily you need to really focus on you. It has to become personal, because if it doesn't, you're not going to stick to it. If it doesn't, you're not going to push yourself hard enough to do it. So you need to really say to yourself, okay, why do I want this? What am I getting from this? How can I benefit from it? And you'll then start to actually think, okay, it's not a case of being selfish, but then having said that, doing personal goals and challenges and things for yourself, you have to be a little bit selfish, and that is fine. That is fine. But at the same time, like I always say to lots of clients who want to get fit so they can spend time with their family, they want to get healthy so they can spend that time with family, it's like, that's great. Right, that's a driver. You want to do it for your family, you want to do it for your kids, you want to do it for your loved ones. That's great. Now, that's your secondary driver. For you, do you want to do it for you? And this is a real challenge, because sometimes we don't. And if you don't want to do it for you, I've said and I've repeated a number of times already, it's not going to happen. As much as you love your kids, as much as you love your family, as much as you love whatever that secondary option is, if you don't want it and love it for you, it's going to be an uphill battle most of the way. Sounds really deep, doesn't it, for a Sunday morning? But it's one of those where it's just trying to sort of get into your mindset and get that reason really embedded. And even if it's a case of, okay, I want to be able to play with the kids. That's a real big one that I use with a lot of my clients. I want to be able to play with the kids without getting tired, or without them feeling like I can't do things with them. So then start with things that incorporates play. Take them for a walk to the park. That walk to and from the park might be more than what you've done before. Play around with them. If you're comfortable enough to get down to floor level, play games, which involves you getting up and then sitting down and things, because that's ultimately using the muscles, it's creating movement in the body. That's going to work towards increasing your functional fitness to a certain degree. So your fitness level for doing set tasks. So if you always walk somewhere, your walking fitness, your walking ability, endurance, all of that is going to get stronger, it's going to get better. The same as playing with your kids. If you think playing football with them once a week is suddenly going to miraculously increase your football level, well, no. You'll need to do that more often. But if you feel happy doing that, then when you walk into the park, take a football with you. Play with them, kick a ball every time you go. So there's little ways of incorporating small changes without you having to say to yourself, why, oh, let's sign up to a year's gym membership. Let's go and start swimming. If swimming isn't a goal or aligned with your goals, don't go swimming. If you want to improve your swimming fitness, and if you want to go swimming with the kids and feel more comfortable going swimming ultimately, then yes, you'll need to do that. And sometimes you need to do it more and more, even if you're in a position where you don't really like yourself enough to want to have to wear skimpy clothing to go to a pool. More often than not, leisure centres that I've worked in the past are very flexible nowadays, and they are very supportive of people who are self-conscious, body conscious, and women can wear shorts in the same way that men can. They can even wear t-shirts into the pool if you feel a bit more self-conscious on your upper body. There's ways that you can make it work, provided that it is still safe in that pool environment, but there's the option to do that. The more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to feel. It's no different to walking in a gym. The first day you walk into a gym, most people feel so intimidated, overwhelmed, and like they don't belong, that they almost don't go back. But after you've been for a week, you just walk in there, crack on, do your thing and leave. It's one of those things where you still have to build up that repetition. You need to build up that confidence in going. That's part of your training. That's part of your mental training as well. People think that training is all physical. You have to still train mentally to overcome these situations, to build your confidence in the first place. So there's so many elements to it. There's so many moving parts. But again, just making sure when you do this, you do it primarily for you. You do it with yourself, mildly selfishly, at the forefront of any other reason as to why you want to make this change. Then factor in the, like I said, the secondary options, whatever those reasons are. And hopefully you'll find yourself in a better position, or you'll find yourself doing the activities that you want to do because you're doing them for you. Like say, walking is a great one. There's no reason, unless you are have mobility issues or physical issues and something that might prevent you from doing it, there's no reason why you can't just add that to your daily life and start somewhere. So that's my little bit for you today. So the sun is out, but it's funny because although the sun's really, really shining nicely, every now and again this hideous cloud just comes over to remind us that we haven't really had a summer this year. Or we have. The summer days have been as sporadic as my time off from work. So it's not consistent. It's the odd day here and there, but deep down we keep telling ourselves we do it because we love it. But at least it's sunny now. That's not bad. Coming towards the end of, or the tail end of the school holidays and that summer period, so everyone's going to be cramming in their barbecues and stuff now to every sort of single sunny day. Ho-hum. So before I waffle you to death even, I'll let you go. Have a great day. Remember, focus on your goals, focus on your goal path and the things that you need to get there. And hit me up if you just want to chit chat or any comments and suggestions. But thanks for joining me for day 20 of my mile a day challenge that is going amazingly well. So, leaving you on a high. Have a good one, peeps. Hey team. So, technically it's day 23, but I'm going to report from day 22 because I missed my run yesterday. I know. And it was through no fault of my own. I could say I was partly to blame because I didn't get up early enough to potentially go out and do the run, but as it goes, my day was about 20 hours long. So, had work stuff to do, had a big audit coming in, which we get sort of every quarter, a really big one, or every half year particularly, where they scrutinise everything. So I needed to, so I was in work earlier than planned, which threw in my whole sort of day off. And then I had family stuff, I had to go to the dentist and stuff in the day. So I had to split my work shift a little bit to travel to and from the dentist, and then I was working till after midnight. So I contemplated running at 1 AM when I got home, and I nearly did it, and I just thought no. It would have been a crazy long day. I didn't need that just before I'd be sort of settling to go to sleep, because it takes me a while to unwind anyway. So to have to do a run and then sort of unwind a bit, no, because I didn't get into bed till about 3 anyway, and then by the time the kids wake you up just after 6, yeah. So I thought I'd pop out early-ish and get the run done today, and then I'll make up for the day that I missed by adding my day. So I will extend the day of the challenge so that I do the full quota of days. That's my compromise. And sometimes you need to work that out in life. Sometimes life just gets in the way, and sometimes you have to adapt. And it's not a case of making excuses. It's not a case of making time, because I've mentioned this before, that sometimes you just have to accept the moment, and you just have to live the day, getting attacked by insects, as it is, and not put the pressure on yourself. Because I felt a little bit guilty, and I felt, I could have probably done it. And then I was looking at my day thinking, well, if I'd gone out for a run early in the morning before I'd done my extensive day, then yeah, I would have still got it done. But mentally, no, I wouldn't have been there. It would have been a struggle throughout the day. Like I said, a lot of rushing around, a lot of things that I needed to do that day anyway, so that wouldn't have helped me. And if anything, it probably would have just knocked me off course. So although I had to get over the mental bit of, okay, I didn't get to do my run yesterday, it's just getting yourself in that place where you almost accept that life is just what it is, without beating yourself up. If someone can get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go and train and do their day, that's amazing. Good for you. But there's a lot of us in life who can't do that, who don't have the motivation or the want to do that. And again, it might not be aligned with our goals. But if I'm getting in at 1 o'clock in the morning, having worked from that previous morning, so if I'm at work from 9 o'clock in the morning and then I'm working all the way through, yes, I could have probably fit one in the morning. No, not when I know I've got a banging day like that to do. So yes, it's about making those decisions, living by them decisions, and not using that as a way of sabotaging your goals or where you're looking to go. So if you find that you have that one day where you say, do you know what, I'm not going to fit it in, I'll have this day off, don't then say the next day, oh, I can't do it, and then the next day, oh, I can't do it, because that's when you sort of get into that slippery slope of tailing off, losing motivation, losing the sustainability of the physical activity that you've chosen. So it's creating that balance. Like say, I'm running every single day. Missing one day isn't detrimental. It's just a case of it messes up the challenge that I was hoping to do. But again, sometimes we just have to accept life and live in that moment, and then everything else will just follow when it can. So I got it done today. So my day 22, got it done, still keeping a steady pace, feeling like I need to do it as opposed to want to do it, but still, yeah, looking forward to the end of this challenge before embarking on the new one. So that's my little update. Got it done, that's the main thing. Feeling good about getting it done, and now I've got to quickly go and stretch and chill and stuff before my day starts again. Happy days. So I'm signing off. Hope you're all keeping well, stay in touch, and again, thank you for all your comments, any suggestions and your questions that you've been throwing at me. It's really helpful, and I will endeavour to be in touch with you again soon. So take it easy, peeps. Peace. Hey team, very quick update for you. So I'm on day 24. So again, I am a slight day behind because I had to miss a day due to life and work commitments that didn't make it possible to squeeze one in. So yeah, oh my days, let's have a catch up. The last couple of days have been crazy hectic. Work has been really, really tough. Family life, trying to fit it in because the school holidays end soon. So trying to make sure I have that good time with the family as well. So close to the end of this challenge, I tell you, I am done. This running thing is ridiculous. And I can tell you now, I'm not enjoying it. I'm doing it and I'm more motivated to do it because I set myself a challenge and I'm very driven. When I challenge myself to do something, I normally push myself as much as I can. The fact that I'm trying to document it as well, so if you find these boring, not my problem. But it's helping me sort of stay focused. That's one thing that you can do, and sometimes it can help you on your journey, is to document how you're doing and sort of how you feel each day. If you, let's say you're tired, like I was today, crazy tired, because I didn't get home till 1:30 in the morning, as we were trialing some new night cleaners. So I sort of stayed with them just to shadow them, make sure that they knew what they were doing. So I ended up going for a run. So as they were finishing up, I said, right, I'm going to go for a run before I had to lock up the restaurant. And yeah, it was like 20 to 1 or something in the morning. And it was strangely enjoyable because obviously everything was quiet and it was just lit by the random street lights every now and again. There weren't many. So it was nice, and it was sort of strangely eerie, but it was a nice run. But despite trying different things, running in the morning, running in the evening, running in the dark, running when I'm tired, it's still running, and I just don't like it. Just don't like it. So, but I can say that I am obviously feeling fitter. My body is changing shape a little bit. Again, I'm only doing a mile a day. So I'm not looking for drastic changes in terms of how my body will change with that one sort of 10-minute change. But I have changed. I have noticed that I've lost in kilos. I think it works about pushing 3.5 kilos, which is approximately sort of six, about half a stone in English money. So that's not too bad actually, and I only changed one thing really. I'm still eating how I was eating before. I've just added this extra 10 minutes. But yeah, documenting what you're doing, that's important, whether it's a video log, whether it's writing it down in a diary. Like I said before, you'll see people writing things down, and it's helped to monitor their progress. It helps to also, you know, map what's working and what isn't working. Put down the things that you enjoy, put down the things that you really dislike, and it can be good just to put a marker on it as well of how you felt. Is it excruciating? Is it mind-numbing? Is it really, really draining of your soul? If that's the case, then that's not the activity for you. It's not saying give up. It's saying, right, let's try other activities. I've said this numerous times in the other videos. It's about finding that balance, finding those things, finding the thing that will push you. And if you're finding that your mood is really, really affected and it's quite low by the activity that you're trying to take part in, you're not going to stick at it. It's not sustainable. You're just going to put yourself in a really bad way. So yeah, track those things, track your progress, track what you're doing, but track how you feel, either before, after, a little bit of a waffle in between. But just so you can sum up as I sign off how I feel about running. Most people know how I feel about nature. I like nature, with exception to the 8-legged friend, and I'm not a big spider fan. But on my run today, I ran through a spider's web, and do you know what? Didn't care. Do you know why I didn't care? Because there was something worse than a spider's web on my face. Running. Yes. So I managed to avoid and ignore the fact there could be a spider somewhere on my person, because running to me was a greater threat to life and my feelings than that spider, which I'm probably going to go home and have a right panic as I strip off to try and find out if it's on me. So yeah, just thought I'd share that with you. But thanks for joining me on this journey. It is going great, all being said. And I did bump into a good friend of mine who is into calisthenics, and I've said that next month will be my calisthenics training sort of challenge month, because I want to be able to do that L-sit. And he's challenged me to a planche as well, which I can't see that happening, but I'm going to give it a go. So as we count down the last few days, watch this space. So take it easy, peeps. Peace out. Hey team. Okay. Really sorry, the quality of this video might be a bit shit. Well, that's because it's dark. Look, dark. It's night time. So I finished my run and I needed to get it done. Had a busy day today. Didn't have time to do it before work, so I had to get it done now. So it's about fitting it in, and oh my days. It was tough, because work was a bit tough. It was a bit slow to start with, but then I was on my feet solidly for like the last 5 hours. And it was just a bit relentless. And then I didn't get time to really to rest or to chill or to sort of obviously sit down or anything. So my legs were a bit tired before I started the run. We've had a busy couple of days, which is why I haven't updated you on what's been going on. Spending time with family and whatnot. So it's been a bit crazy. And then, yeah, so where are we? Day 29. Day 29. We're nearly done. And that's really makes me happy inside and out. I'm counting down the days, and every day it gets closer. Although I should be getting excited, I'm actually getting slightly, oh, can I be bothered to do it? There's like 2 or 3 days to go, I might as well just stop. So I've had those moments, but I've talked myself into just getting it done, which is good. Will I keep it up afterwards? No, but I might do the odd run. I might do one every couple of days or something, just to stay on top of it. I'll see how I feel. That sounds really optimistic. So what's happened? So the last few days, it's been going really, really well. I've had a good couple of runs the last couple of days with increased times, which is good. The speed has been quicker as well. It's not been my goal, but I've just felt a bit more comfortable in them runs. So I've been able to do that. That's progress again. So little victories, celebrate those. Anything that you know is going well. Fitness is improving, so I'm recovering easier after the run, although I am pushing myself harder. So I find that as I get to the end of my run, my breathing is really heavy, and I find that once I finish running, I'm sort of not gasping for breath, but I am in a position where I'm needing to really get my breathing right. But it doesn't take long before I'm back to myself, so that's always good. And then what else is there? Yeah, running in different places. So it was Bank Holiday Monday. I took the family out. It was a sort of a last minute thing, so we decided to go to the beach because we hadn't had a chance to do a holiday or anything for the kids, and we felt a bit bad. So I said, look, let's try and get them down to the beach for a surprise. And we went down, spent a whole day at the beach. And I did my run on the beach, well, along the promenade. But the trouble is the kids wanted to go in and play on the arcade machine, and that was totally fine. So I said, look, I'll get my run done while they go in there and have a play. Now that sounded great. But bearing in mind that it was a Bank Holiday Monday in the UK, it was quite crazy because the weather wasn't too bad, so everyone descends on the beaches. And then I had a buggy with my 3-year-old in it. I forgot I had all the bags with the buckets and spades and towels and all the tat that we brought around the town. And I also had my backpack on, which had all various things in it as well. So I hadn't really judged it as well as it could have. So trying to run down the promenade with a 3-year-old screaming with joy as I thunder down, zigzagging in between people and posts. And what was quite funny is the amount of people I nearly hit. And they're just swerving into my way. And then they're looking at me like, why are you running? It's like, well, why not? So I had a couple of moments where I had to stop and walk because I couldn't get past people. And then, but I got it done. I was quite chuffed. I was proud of myself. So even though I don't really like it, it's a challenge. I'm getting it done. Every day I'm running. And I suppose that makes me feel good at the end of the day that I've done it and I've achieved it. So that's always a positive. And then today, let me tell you about today's run. I'm going to tell you. Anyone who knows Paula Radcliffe knows that she had a moment during one of her marathons where unfortunately she bailed a little bit, because your body sometimes does what your body wants to do, even though you don't want your body to do what your body wants to do or may need to do, and it's just not an appropriate time for your body to want or need to do that thing. I had one of those moments. In other terms, we relate them to, or we call them, squeaky bum moments. And to put it bluntly, I nearly shit myself. I felt bloated today, strangely bloated. I don't know why, I just did. And then I started my run, I felt quite good, and I got to the top of this, it's not really a hill, but it's a constant gradient. And as I was coming back down, I could feel my bloatedness moving. And I don't want to be too graphic, but we're friends. And I got to a point where my body was just like, mate, you want to get this done quick. Otherwise, you're going to be another shade of brown. And I did. I got the run done, finished the run, and then had to stop. And let me tell you, I have never clenched so hard in my life. Because I was in the middle of nowhere. Well, not in the middle of nowhere. I was in a busy street. There were speed cameras and everything. They would have probably picked it up. So, yeah. So I took a slow walk back to the car where I am now. I'm just about feeling safe enough to get into my car and drive. So I should be able to get home with relatively tidy underwear. So, yeah. That was worrying, because I've never had that before on a run. If you've had that on a run before, share your experience with us. We're strangely interested. But yeah, so I got it done, took a slow walk back to the car, and here I am just telling you the tale. But that's what I've learned about myself, and I've learned about running, is that be prepared. Always expect the unexpected. Like say when you're running, you never know what you're going to run past, into, through, round, what the weather's going to do, because quite frankly in the UK the weather has been wank, to put it bluntly. We've not really had a consistent sun. If we're lucky, we've had a day and a half in a row, but otherwise it's been cloudy, rainy, which is a shame really, because we didn't get the nice warm. You always know it's bad when you don't even get your paddling pool out, or no one bothers with barbecues. So yes, that's that. So day 29, getting the job done. We're nearly done, peeps. We are nearly done. And then I'll be on to the next thing. Yeah. So I hope you're all keeping well. Thank you very much for joining me. Apologies for the slight overshare. But do you know what? Sometimes you just need to share. You need to get these things off your chest. You don't want those things on your chest, though. Not unless you're into that sort of thing. But I'm glad I don't have any friends who are into that sort of thing. Anyway, mind is wandering. So I've got to get home. So have a great day. Have a great night wherever you are. And I will keep you updated as we get towards the end of this challenge. Yeah. So, peace out, peeps. Hey, 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 hey. So, I've just done my last run. And I feel really good about myself. Not good because I feel like great about myself physically and all that stuff. I feel great about myself because I don't have to run anymore. That's exciting. Strangely exciting. Oh, got it done. Oh my days. I was going to say I tried to go a little bit harder today, but my legs were really sore. I don't know why. I think it's because the past couple of days at work as well have been quite taxing on my legs. So I didn't go as fast as I wanted to. I was going to try and set a new record, but I thought, you know what, just get it done. Just get it done. And that's exactly what I've done. So 31 days, 31 miles. And yeah, let me just highlight some positives. One, my mentality changed in terms of how I was looking at each run. I know that obviously if you're looking over these videos, you're probably thinking, no, I didn't. I was sort of more, at the start of it, it was an effort to get out of the house. Whereas up until now, even after my first week, I sort of wanted to get it done. Again, partly because I set myself the challenge, but also I got into like that routine where my body was like, okay, we should really do this. So that's a positive, that's a little victory, that if you give it time, it becomes part of your routine. It's not long before your body and before your mind accepts the challenge, the venture, whatever it is that you're pursuing. And if you are consistent with it, and this is with everything in life, if you're consistent with it, eventually it will pay off. You will find that you'll see the results if you really stick to it. So I've seen the results with that. My mindset towards running is better. Yes, I still dislike it, but I will still go out and do it. I'm less reluctant to go for a run, particularly in this sort of 31-day period. So obviously there are the added benefits of adding additional physical activity in terms of obviously my fitness levels have increased, my recovery fitness has increased. I sweat all the time anyway, I'm a sweaty Betty, but it's one of those where I'm finding that I'm recovering quicker, even at work where I'm on my feet all day, working quite a warm environment. I'm not as sweaty as I used to be. So obviously that's had some benefits as well. Yes, cheer those little victories. And also I've seen some weight change, I've seen some shape change. So that's gone really, really well. And we know that's going to happen if you increase your physical activity. Even if nothing else changes except that one thing, that variable is enough to activate change. So like I said, I've noticed that in my fitness levels. I've noticed that now in my body shape has changed, not massively. I was only doing 1 mile a day, but it's enough to notice that change in that 30-day period. And also my weight has changed. Like I said, I normally sit around 100 kilos. Just always have been, literally. I've been like that for about 15 years. And now I think I'm around sort of 97. So to sort of see a 3-4 kilo drop, which again in English money, you're looking at sort of 8 to 10 pounds, is quite a good, I guess, weight loss. But as I said before, that wasn't my goal. My goal hasn't been to lose weight because I've been this weight for so long, and I know that my weight doesn't define me. I know that people can be heavier and slimmer. So it's just one of those things where it's looking at the different measuring tools. That's positive. What else can I tell you? Well, it was raining a bit today, so that's the British summertime gone. So now that we're officially going into September, let's see what happens. They forecast some sun over the next few days. Everyone's like, ooh, we're going to have some sun over the next couple of days. It's like, well, we didn't have any for the last sort of 6 weeks, so let's not sort of get too carried away with that one. Yeah, and that's where I leave you on that point. But the biggest thing is to sort of say is get consistent. As I've said over all these videos, find the reason, the primary reason for you wanting to do the challenge. Find the primary reason for you wanting to make that change, and make sure that at the forefront of that reason is you. You can have the secondary, you can have all of the subcategories of why you're doing these challenges, why you're pushing yourself to make a change. But again, you must come first, and then the other things are just additional motivators or factors that you might want to consider on your journey. So it's really important to put you first. Don't try and change too much too soon. Start with one thing at a time. Like say, just in this 30 days, I did one thing, one big change, and that was to challenge myself to do 1 mile a day. You don't need to run. You could get out and walk. You can even find that if your challenge is to do 5,000 steps a day, start there. But then be consistent over the days to make sure that you're hitting that target. And then you will start to see the change. You'll start to see not just the physical, like I said at the beginning, you'll see that mental change as well. And then have a look at other things that might be triggers or catalysts in your life that force you down these paths of almost like self-destruction, without it sounding too dramatic, where we normally have, say, a circle of friends who we want to spend a lot of time with, but maybe they knock you off track. There's no shame in sort of identifying people who are close to you who may also be causing you a downward spiral. So maybe it's saying, okay, they're really good friends, I'm keeping them as friends, I'm not getting rid of my friends, but maybe I change the way that I socialize a little bit with them, or maybe I only focus on socializing at certain times where it's not going to impact any of these goals that you're wanting to achieve. Or the other thing is trying to get them on board and making them understand how important this thing is to you, and seeing if they can then help you out. Because there's a lot of times the people next to us or closest to us, our support network as it were, are the ones that will actually derail us the most. They're the ones that will normally offer a little help. They will usually hit you with negative comments, or why are you doing that, or you're going to look like this, or I don't know, what's the point. And they don't necessarily mean it harmful, but it's not supportive, and sometimes it just either triggers the fact that they're not prepared to make a change, and then they're worried about how that might affect your relationship as a whole. If suddenly you hit your goals and then they're still where they were before, that's then a journey they need to take. That's not something you need to worry about. So don't let them sabotage you, because they are in a position where they don't want to make a change and they're happy how everything is. I watched one of those TED Talks again the other evening. I'm a big fan of Brene Brown. You may have heard of her. She's awesome. She talks a lot about guilt, shame, and I guess acceptance in ourselves, and the barriers between trying to be courageous and finding that strength to be brave, and how the two ends of the spectrum, being vulnerable and being brave, are actually both at the same end. It's really quite interesting and insightful. And the one thing that obviously stands out, and the big comment that she made when she was referencing a quote that Roosevelt made in a big speech, is if people aren't prepared to step out of their comfort zone and to put themselves, as she referred to, in the arena, they are in no position to judge you on any failures or any tasks that you undertake. If you're putting yourself out there to be judged, as many of us do on social media, in life, depending on our jobs, if they're not putting themselves out there, if they're just sitting back from the sidelines and throwing, heckling and commenting negatively, their voice means nothing. They don't even need to be making any comments. They'll do it because unfortunately they're insecure. But ultimately, if you're not in that same place, if you're not challenging yourself, stepping out on a limb, putting yourself out there in the same way, then you've got no position to say something. And it's really quite empowering, so I would recommend you checking it out. She's got a number of different talks that she does. This one, I believe, was called Call to Courage. And it's just encouraging you to take that time to find that sort of happy place and that comfort with yourself, but also being aware. And the key factor is, if you put yourself out there, if you challenge yourself and step onto, or into the playing field, she says it's not a case of you need to prepare for failure. She says you will fail. There's going to be elements where you're just going to have to find that inner strength to overcome the fact that in terms of progress, in terms of wanting to move forward and be successful in any element of life, business, whatever, you will fail. It's how you then rise up from that. So it's really interesting. It is a good motivational sort of speech and talk that she does. So I would recommend that one, because it does talk to so many aspects of life. So many of us who do battle and struggle with these little things when we want to sort of make those changes. And the biggest thing is, like I say, guilt, shame, and putting ourselves in that position where we are opening ourselves for judgment. And that's why they would say don't read the comment section, because you're always going to get some knobhead on there who's going to comment negatively, who doesn't know you. They don't know your life, and they're just sat behind a keyboard deciding that they want to sort of heckle you for no reason other than their sad little insecure lives. That's my little bit on there. But the challenge is done. 31 days, mile a day for the month. Really pleased, got it done. So on to the next one. So stay tuned. Hopefully I haven't bored you to tears, but stay tuned, and I'll keep you updated on how the next challenge goes. So enjoy this next month, peeps. Peace out.